So this is the chart in regards to depression. And once again, what we see. So the dark blue is Gen Zs. Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by the following problems? Feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge, right? 61%. Feeling down, depressed, or hopeless, 42%. It's almost in every aspect, bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. Do you think the Gen Zs are being like mice that are being tested on with all the drugs, all the new stuff, and we see the results?
I think it's a mixture of things. I think part of that, there is a lot of push on drugs, a lot of push on different even vaccinations and different things like that. And I think that's why so many Americans are super excited about this MAHA movement to come in and take a stop to all the nonsense that's happening. I think we're also seeing with this being bothered, having Gen Z bothered more with anxiety or depression. I think also social media plays a large role into that. I mean, especially for women. I mean, when have you been able to open up your phones and see all these different women with that they look beautiful because they're airbrushed on all these photos and all the different body image issues that come out of that. And so it doesn't shock me that Gen Z is the most depressed and hopeless and anxious generation. Again, there's a lot that plays into it. Social media, I think, plays the largest role, but also it's this whole ideology of choosing your identity. It's super easy to feel anxious and lost and depressed when you're constantly being told you need to figure out your identity. What is your identity? And I don't even mean necessarily with the trans stuff. Yes, with the trans ideology of you weren't even created perfectly as a male or female, but you were created just as a person who has to figure out if they're male or female. One,
but in the first you were evolved from an ape.
Yes. So it's all this, and it's this idea of, is your identity, are you a popular kid? Are you not a popular kid? Are you an athlete? Are you an artist? Are you a singer? What are you? And it's this constant hunt for your identity. And I think social media has really pushed into that as well. And so I don't think that's something that earlier generations dealt with as much. And that's something for me as a Christian, it's so freeing, because as a Christian and a follower of Jesus Christ, we are the one group that doesn't have to search for our identity. God gives it to us. I know I'm a daughter of Christ, and I have no question in my identity. He has laid it out very clearly for me that I was knit together in my mother's womb, made male or female, and there was no mistake when he made me. And so Gen Z isn't being taught that. They're being taught to compare themselves to every social media influencer, to every model that has all these pictures online where, yeah, I could see someone and I'm like, man, I wish my body looked like that. Their body doesn't even look like that.
Correct.
It's edited, it's airbrushed, they pull in their waist, they put on fake abs, they edit all these things so much. And I think that's what's led to all this depression and anxiousness and hopelessness. And just, again, I think there's just different ways where they tell you like to embrace different identities, to find your identity and all that. And when you're constantly on a hunt of trying to figure out what you are and who you are, you're never going to be happy. And so that, with the rise of social media, with the push of culture and society and everything being pushed nowadays, like it's pretty obvious why Gen Z is the most depressed and anxious.
Would you say it started with the Kardashians 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, they were definitely a big movement in this of people that were constantly getting surgeries to change what their bodies look like. I mean, we're seeing them get their waist pulled and we're seeing them get fake butts. We're seeing all these things.
Fake butts
and
is crazy.
So as a woman and someone, I mean, no girl, when they start going through puberty, looks in the mirror as a 14-year-old girl and thinks, wow, I love the way that I look. There's nothing I would change. Every girl would tell you, oh, I wish I could change this. I wish I was a little skinnier or a little taller, or I wish I had a little bit more of a waist, or I wish my hair was longer. I wish I didn't have acne. Every woman could pick themselves apart by looking in a mirror. It's just a natural thing we unfortunately do. And now with people like the Kardashians, people on social media where they are spending millions of dollars to get their bodies on what they think is perfect. And again, we've watched them change their bodies because things change over time. We watched them try to make themselves as skinny as possible. And then we watched them try to give themselves curves because curves were in. And then it's all these things are changing. And so, yeah, people like the Kardashians and Hollywood and social media has really pushed what females think of themselves and their bodies. And again, when you don't look like what the Kardashian can spend thousands of dollars to make themselves look like, of course you're going to feel depressed because you think that's the right thing and you think you look wrong.